Hi, friends. Nezuko also says hi. I'll get to her in a minute. Welcome to another monthly faves. Today we are covering August, and I distinctly remember at the top of the month I said, Alicia, start taking notes now, because it always happens at the end of the month. You have to go back into the archives. You don't remember what happened. August flew by, and yeah, I didn't buy anything new. I received PR, which I'm always grateful for, so I'll go over a few of those favorites. But yeah, I've been using the makeup that's in my current collection. I haven't grabbed anything new. I have my eye on a few things. You know, the new Hourglass foundation, Patrick Ta now has his new foundation, the Nessa Myricks Lightwork 4, I believe. There are a lot of products on deck, and I know it just turned September, but this is where the holiday releases leak real hard, and I'm just trying to stay strong because I realize that we're getting into the gift season, the Black Fridays, and all the sales that will happen during the season. But for this month, I appropriately chilled and just used what I have. I bought other things though, and we'll go over those in a minute. But if it's your first time here, hi, I'm Alicia, an online coach who specializes in flexibility, body weight training, and helping those obtain sustainable nutrition and movement habits. But I also love to talk about the makeup. And before we get into what I've been loving over the course of August, I definitely have to go into my anime clothes collection. Patches Paradise, artist based in Australia. Shout out to Pam for sending me their IG. I submitted a custom order for a denim jacket, and if you haven't heard of Patches Paradise, if you are an anime manga fan, just beware, okay? Because you will be showered with just beautiful denim jackets with your favorite anime characters, and they take custom orders. So if there's a specific manga panel that you love or a character and a moment that you love, Patches Paradise will recreate that on a denim jacket. You can choose the type of color because denim comes in several washes. You choose the size, but the main premise behind the brand is recycling fashion, reusing fashion. So these are vintage jackets that were once loved and need a new home. Why not paint something beautiful on it? And I submitted my request to have Inosuke on my jacket. I was going back and forth with the wash and whatnot, and I thought it was only appropriate to have like a dark wash with Inosuke, and I chose this art piece that I found on the internet. I could not find the original artist, so if someone knows or if I find it, I'll make sure to put it down below. But man, when I received my jacket, listen, I cannot wait until fall hits. I'm gonna be wearing this thing every day, and it just has a vibe. I feel so cool, like the ultimate Inosuke fan. They also have denim jackets that are ready to sell, so you don't have to necessarily buy one or custom order one to receive one. You could buy one that's already created, and I also purchased the Black Lady Chibiusa jacket. Ooh, when I saw this, it's just, listen, I'm gonna go on a tangent, forgive me. There's a video by Internet Pitstop called The Beauty of 90s Anime Aesthetic. I watched this video last night, and it solidified all the feelings I had when I was younger in high school, the only one watching anime. And actually before that, in middle school, I was the only girl that watched anime, and it was hard to talk to the boys about it because they were like, did you see Ninja Scroll? I'm like, no. Well, you can't because you're a girl and you're young. I'm like, you're this same age, bruh. And I sketched a lot of anime. I made up my own characters, but I felt like I was just by myself in being so enthusiastic about anime at the time. And when I think back to everything I saw during that time period, all the DVDs that I have, I actually had VHS as well. I might have given those away. But when Internet Pitstop outlined all the favorite animes at that time in the 90s, and he explained just, the more vibrant color palette, how everything was hand-drawn and not as digital, it just kind of was like, he's so right. It's so nostalgic in that sense. And when I saw Chibiusa on this jacket, I think, again, that 90s anime aesthetic pulled me by the neck. and I was just like, I had to have it. And because it is from Australia, the shipping is $30. So if you are thinking about grabbing a denim jacket from Patches Paradise, if you are good on one and you know it's only gonna be one, then fine. But if you have a friend that's into this as well, maybe buddy up so that you could only just do the one-time shipping and not multiple shipping purchases, okay? Just so you know, I'll put all the information down below, and it's done through PayPal. So you reach out to them on Instagram DMs and they send you the instructions, they send you the email that you will use on PayPal to pay them, and you just write your name, the type of jacket you're ordering, the character. They will give you all the instructions, and that's what I did. It was a pretty seamless experience, and it was well worth the wait because custom orders do take time. So those will take longer than ones that are ready to sell, just so you know. And that, yes, thank you for listening to my tangent. I will leave Internet Pitstop's video down below because if you are an anime fan like me, and especially one from the 90s, I would highly recommend that you watch this video because to nerd out about, again, the artistry of it, the intention, it was just like this grunginess to it and this darkness to it that when I saw it as a young person, maybe not so appropriate at the time, okay, I get it, but that impact has not occurred in the same way with newer anime. And I love the newer anime, okay? Demon Slayer fan all the way. I finally am at episode 600 with One Piece. Whoa, My Dress Up Darling, Attack on Titan, Jujutsu Kaisen, all these newer animes, and I would even argue ones that came before the big shot ones, didn't have the same artistic appeal, or it didn't have that, I can't even explain it. That's why I would suggest you watch the anime aesthetic video, because what I'm trying to put into words right now, I think Internet Pitstop beautifully describes. So watch it. Maybe we could discuss it in the community board. Who knows? I'll post it there too because I need someone to talk to about this. Moving on, I also received more Steady Hands cardigans. I ordered the Demon Slayer Core Destroy uniform sweater with the gold shiny buttons and the Destroy symbol on the back. Ooh, if you know, you know. I also bought the Attack on Titan Survey Core, Give Your Hearts, which I love how large the design is on the back. And I bought the Anya sweater, her Eden Academy uniform, which I bought in a small medium, so you could check out the length of both the waist and sleeve. I could have had all my sweaters in a small medium for sure because it's still pretty oversized, but I wanted this a touch smaller for the uniform sweater because I think this had more of a distinct design that will look better on a slightly smaller sweater on me, so that's what I decided to go with. But the medium large, the sleeves are longer, they go past my hands, and it looks bunchier on the arms, and of course the waist length is longer than the small medium, but I would say the small medium still goes over my butt. So for context, I am 5'5", 135 pounds. If you're around my height, my size, then the small medium will be a good length too, but I understand if you want something a little more cloaky like I did, that's why I grabbed the medium large. Also, I finished the Marine Ford arc in One Piece, and let's just say I ordered an Ace sweater and Ace bucket hat. If you know, you know. Got me some more Jynwaye shorts. Here we have Satoru Gojo from Jujutsu Kaisen, you know, everyone's favorite sorcerer daddy. These come in white, but these sets of shorts did not have the pockets on them. I like the pockets on the back. I think it camouflages the tush a little bit better, but that's just my personal preference. The white ones a little see-through, but they are double layer. They're not single. I just would not wear like neon underwear. You know, you gotta be a little more strategic in that area. We got the Zenitsu shorts. These are a great yellow. They're so vibrant, so freaking vibrant that a bee would not stop following me while I was walking. That wasn't good. Did not get stung though. Hooray. I forgot to show you this when filming the B-roll, but also have the Anya hoodie. She has the Gucci teddy bear instead of Mr. Chimera. Isn't that just adorable? And then we have our Captain Levi on a towel. I had to get this because I just think it's so hilarious. It's a microfiber towel, and I just want to take a yoga class, and I haven't taken yoga in years, just to use this towel. And I just want to see everyone's expression like, who is that on this girl's towel? And as you saw, we have little Nezuko here. I bought her from Sideshow, and I'm trying to figure out how to keep her bamboo mouthpiece on because it ripped as I was trying to figure out, because look, she has a wig. Oh no, she's bald. She has a wig with hooks here, and the bamboo piece, I think theoretically they wanted it was attached to the elastic and the red pieces to attach to the hooks, but it wouldn't stay on her mouth, even though the mouthpiece itself has grooves to help it stay, but it doesn't. So I might have to use like a gentle, maybe double stick tape just to hold it there. But you have to assemble her, and she has like all her joints and stuff. Look, look at her little hands. Look at her little claw hands and her kimono and everything. So I just think she is so precious, and I have to fix her bamboo. And I want to fix her hair too because it's probably from being in the package, but I want it to be a little like wavier, straighter. Yeah, it's a little too curly bouncy for my liking. She has a stand, and there are instructions, but I can't figure out how to put this on her waist without it pushing her clothes back. So I gotta look at the instructions again. But isn't she so precious? I love her so much. I can't get over it. I'm such a nerd. Thank you for letting me be me here. I'm gonna let you sit over here, Nezuko. Okay? You're right here. Oh no, you fell. Is that it with the lifestyle? I think that might be. I haven't bought anything new besides what I just showed, and yeah, that's it. I'd like to briefly mention some nail polish. A huge shout out to What's Up Beauty. They sent me their Geode collection that consists of an eyeshadow palette and 6 nail polishes, 2 shades I wore during, I believe it was my Holy Grail video, maybe, and the Syndey Grace and the Fancy Face collaboration palette video, tropiCOLOR. That was in clay and rhodonite, I believe. But yesterday I applied Earthlight and Agate on top because I thought the 2 cream shades were great bases for the shimmer shades, right? Because clay was more like a taupe, and to apply Earthlight on top I thought was perfect because now you have that amplified blue shimmer that sits beautifully on top of that strong taupe base. And with Agate you have like this rose colored base with a beautiful, it's this like gold, it's lime pink shimmers in the polish. And the 2 other shades we have Crystal and Peridot. So can't wait to try these. But a huge thank you to the brand for sending me the nail polish and the palette. I unfortunately did not have time to hop into the palette, but these look lovely. Did I say rhodonite or something else? I probably said something else because I'm an idiot. But briefly showing you a few swatches, I thought these looked great. So whenever I have a chance to dive into these shades, I'll come back on here. And again, thank you to What's Up Beauty for sending. My apologies for not having something up yet, but I have been wearing the nail polish, and it does come with my favorite curved brush, which I love, more preferable for my nail shape. I know might not be great for everyone, but I am most comfortable using that type of a brush design. And of course, I have to mention tropiCOLOR again from Syndey Grace and the Fancy Face. That's what I have on my eyes today. I wanted to use mostly mattes from the palette and do kind of like a color blocking moment and just use one of the metallics for the lower inner lash line. And I have a video dedicated to this palette showcasing the swatches, presenting 4 looks, and again, a huge congratulations to Tina. It was a great surprise to see that she was collaborating with Syndey Grace and was creating a palette that meant so much to her in terms of her heritage and her life. And definitely, I feel closer to Tina now using this palette. But more importantly, I think it's a blast to use that although it has color, they're more muted and subdued. You have the neutrals in there, and I think approachable in not only the formula being easy to use from mattes to metallics. I think the color scheme itself makes it encouraging to use and might be great for one who doesn't necessarily dab into color but might be comfortable using this palette. And for today's face, so for my Holy Grail video, I did award NARS Light Reflecting Foundation as my Holy Grail, but I have to shout out Pat McGrath's Skin Fetish Foundation. This was sent to me by the brand when they sent Moonlit Seduction, and I did the sponsorship video with them, and they sent me a whole bunch of products alongside the palette, and they also included 3 shades of the Skin Fetish, which I haven't been wearing as the shades that I already owned were too light. They sent me 17 through 19, and 18 has been my go-to shade, and this and the NARS have been exquisitely beautiful on my skin. I just love the luminous effect and the fact that when I pump this foundation on, it just gives me a new face without looking heavy or overly made up. If I were to compare this to the NARS, I think the NARS has a little more luminosity to it. Let me know down below what your experience has been if you have both foundations, but I think that's the main distinction for me. So I've been going back and forth between the two, combining the two, and that's why I haven't been so much in a rush to buy the new Hourglass. I'm open to grabbing a sample, so perhaps I'll visit an Hourglass counter somewhere, grab the sample, because I don't necessarily have to rush to get a whole new bottle just yet. I think because of the current landscape of YouTube, specifically beauty YouTube, and a reviewer needing to grab a new product right away, trying it, letting you know their thoughts, whether you should buy it or not. For me, I'm like, what's the rush? I have foundations that I love. I encourage you to use the foundations that you have that you love. But if there is something that piques our interest, why not just try it for a few days? Give it some thought, because the Hourglass I think is like $68. So I want to try and think about it before I dive in right away. And I already have these foundations, so I want to use these a bit more before I head over to the Hourglass. And now Patrick Ta released his compact palette. I'm actually more open to grabbing that over the Hourglass at this moment, because compact foundations, the appeal, I think it's just easier use, right? With the liquid foundation, you got I know I'm about to sound real lazy right now. You gotta take off the cap, you gotta pump out the foundation, you gotta blow it in. With compact foundations, you just dab the brush right in on your face and you're done, right? There are no extra steps. That is the appeal. I'll let you know if I grab it, but I'm not in a rush to. And on the cheeks, I decided to use the Burberry face palette, the Essentials Glow palette specifically. This is in 02 medium dark, inspired to use this palette when I spoke about it during my Get Ready With Me Going Back Into the Makeup Archives video episode 2. I thought this was a lovely palette, and I didn't use a whole ton. I just made sure I was light-handed with the cream bronzer contour and the gel to powder bronzer. I think these gel to powder textures just lend a beautiful skin-like finish to the skin. If you don't want it to look matte, but you still want a little bit of soft focus there, you could use these gel to powder formulas and use the more coral shade for my blush. I was careful though, because you see how shiny it is. I didn't want too much on my cheeks because I didn't want it to appear too textured on that area. So it was very light, and I used actually one of my Koiro brushes. This is the Yoshiki brush. It's a more dense cheek brush. I believe this is either Saikoho or Sokoho goat hair, but it's undyed. And it doesn't have the same movement as, let's say, my Hokuro brush, right? My Hokuro is a squirrel and goat blend. So this has a little more movement, whereas the Koiro brush is a little more stiff, right? But I thought this would be good to use with these textures because the pickup will be nice, but the way it brushes against the skin, it deposits the right amount of product without disrupting my foundation. And then, of course, I went in with one of my most favorite brushes now that I've been using like heck for highlight. This is my Tonseido brush. It's the angled brush that I didn't include this in my Holy Grail. Now I'm reconsidering. I included another brush in my Holy Grail that it's like one of my all-time faves, but this is also because I can use this for under the eyes, between the brows, just more precise areas on my face that I either want to place loose or pressed powder on or highlight, which I think perfect for these textures because although it's gel to powder, it's not as powdery, and yes, more powdery textures are easier to pick up. This brush picks the gel to powder texture just fine, and the way it blends it on my skin, it's just like a beautiful wash of shine that doesn't look too pearlized or metallic. It melts into the skin and lays it down beautifully and buffs the edges. Like, I couldn't even believe that I used this face palette. I'm like, wow, that's pretty. And again, a reminder as to why it's important to revisit the makeup that we already own and maybe use it with different brushes and discovering the treasures that still exist in our collections if we use different tools. I can't stress that enough, right? Because some of you had even said like, look, if I had a different brush with this product, it would have probably worked out a lot better. And instead of me giving up on it, I would have kept it. And it's the truth. You never know. And that is the fun of it. If you dive back into makeup that you've had for a bit, kind of trying out from different angles, different application techniques, different tools, you can uncover a gem. And now I'm going to be using this, I think maybe for the rest of the week, because why not? I used the face palette today, but I've been using the heck out of the Pat McGrath highlighter stick because this has just been my go-to routine for the last month, whether it's the rose ink tint, the Pat McGrath foundation, the NARS foundation, the LYS concealer. I even used to say the other day, hey rhymes. Quickly, depending on the day, lighter coverage, medium coverage, a blush, whether it's the Benefit Terra, the Bare Minerals Rose, the bronzer product, one of the Vital Surgeon's cream blushes, and the highlighter right here. I'll throw in maybe Paradise Venus through the eyes and on the cheeks too, or any of the blushes that I mentioned through the eyes, maybe mascara, maybe not. That has been my go-to routine for the last few weeks, and I guess that's why I just have not been compelled to grab anything new, because I've just been loving and appreciating my more minimalist routine. While I understand now the seasons are transitioning, today is September 1st, maybe my mood will change, I'll want to try something new, maybe I'll apply more makeup going forward. Perhaps will be encouraged to because it won't be so hot. But for now, I'm good. I actually wanted to mention that I forgot to include, shame on me, the Lisa Eldridge Luxuriously Lucent lipstick in Painterly. This is my go-to everyday shade. I think it's perfect in terms of the consistency, the color. I can use this with no makeup on my face, maybe a little bit of blush, and it gives my complexion some dimension, some life without it looking over committed, right? It's not like I'm applying a red tone lipstick with no makeup on. That could be a little contrasting, right? This just serves the right amount of color. It's balmy, it feels good on the lips. So if you needed to apply something moisturizing on your lips but still wanted a little bit of pop, then Painterly has been my go-to. Other favorite, Meet Me in Berlin from her most recent addition to the Luxuriously Lucent line. Spirited Away is a great one. Rose Official I love as well. So these have been my go-to for everyday lip products that I just needed a little more on the lip to give it color, as well as the Suqqu lip gloss. So today I applied the Suqqu Flawless Gloss. What is this? The official number is 110. This was the teal with gold and blue and all types of stuff in here. Pink I saw. I love the brown red pearl one as well. It's just lost somewhere, and because I was only able to grab this has just been the one I've been applying as of late. It's perfectly shiny but still lightweight, super glossy but not goopy. You know what I'm saying? I apply this with Pat's Permagel liner in Structure, and it's a great pairing. What can I say? And my makeup look today, I absolutely adore. And I looked forward to applying and doing my makeup for this video because I wanted to dive into tropiCOLOR again. I wanted to use the McGrath foundation. I wanted to then use the Burberry face palette with my Fude. It's just the enthusiasm factor has been high, and I think that's a great sign to consider, hey, maybe just enjoy what you have now at the moment. And if that becomes stale, maybe window shop, but I would argue probably just not wear makeup for a bit and then go back to it. I think everyone has their own approach to deal with stale creativity or not wanting to wear makeup anymore. That is not necessarily solved by buying new items. I think it could be dealt with in a myriad of ways, but for now I've just been extremely happy with what I have, albeit yes, some of the products shown were sent to me. I didn't necessarily buy them. They are newer to my collection, but I am happy to have them. Again, I will let you know when I dive into the Geodes What's Up Beauty eyeshadow palette. I'll continue to use tropiCOLOR. Perhaps the downside to the palette is its size. I will have to choose a much larger makeup bag to accommodate this palette, or I will have to be careful with how I pack it in my rolly, ensuring that it won't shake around while in transit, right? Because if it's loosey-goosey, it will have a greater risk of hitting, breaking the shadows inside, and we don't want that. Versus just using a larger makeup bag, which I could do, but the makeup bags that I have are not the right size for this palette, unfortunately. So I might just have to take along the What's Up Beauty over the weekend. I think we can accomplish some fun looks with this palette, given that there are a number of neutral mattes, but then spiced with the gem dazzly razzly metallics here. Am I missing anything? Well, if I am, what are you gonna do? I think I'll wrap it here, fam. August has been an overall chill month for me. Let me know what it has been for you. This time I will start taking notes for September because I don't want to go through this again, having to rack my brain in trying to remember what happened last month. Stay tuned if there'll be any new makeup purchases for September. If they are, I'll try to keep it very low. I'll see you down in those comments, fam. And until then, that is a wrap. Thank you all so much for watching. I hope this video helped, and if you like this video, please give it a thumbs up or maybe consider subscribing to my channel. And until then, I will see you on here again with another review tutorial, monthly faves, or a makeup archives get ready with me. Take care, and I will see you again soon.